Valorant is a tactical shooter where the best players can kill you in one hit. Even moderate players can bring you to 0 health within 1 second, only hitting body shots. So how can you possibly win a competitive match with poor skill? Well, you watch this channel, that's how. Welcome to Bronze Dad Plays, and in this video we're talking all about how you as a poor skilled player can climb the competitive ladder in Valorant. And look, the proof is in the pudding, so check this out right here. I have poor KDA. I'm in Elo hell, but I still manage to win, and occasionally pull crazy win streaks. Only a couple of these games are duos with other bronze players, the rest are all solo queue at different times of day. And for those of you already higher than bronze, I encourage you to watch this video and tell me if these tips apply to higher ranks as well. Let me know in the comments down below just how wrong I am. First, let's talk about what it takes to win a match in Valorant. It's the first team to 13 winning rounds, and each round you win through either kills or a spike plant. But both of these have the same general routine. Get information, get vision, and then get the shot or plant the bomb. If you lack the skills to aim and shoot, what does that leave you with? Well, the whole game. Let's start with step number 1, get information. Information is king in Valorant. Knowing where your enemy is will result in a win for you, period. You can go for the kill, rotate, fake a rotation, use abilities to force them to move, play around the loss of a sight line, etc. Knowing the number of enemies in a specific location is even more valuable. This lets your team determine which site to stack to go for the dub. Both of these types of information can be provided to you at no cost to yourself. We've got ears? Say cheers! Listen through the walls and call it what you hear. Do shoulder peeks to bait a shot and call out what or who tried to shoot you. Use abilities like radar and camera to scope areas ahead of your team's movement. Use abilities like bots to hold a point behind your team and call out when they get activated. All of these methods are safe for you, safe for your team, and result in more information with which your team can act upon. However, are you feeling brave? Are you feeling like you want to stay in iron? Then let's go for those risky plays. These are not recommended, but hey, you do you. I certainly did them and still managed to crush my foes. First, you can play the counter flank. As your team pushes onto site, you give up the security of space behind the map behind you. However, as a counter flanker, simply aim this direction. Sit farther back from your team and watch long angles towards other sites. By playing in a counterintuitive manner, you can surprise your enemies. This is especially effective at lower ranks because your enemy simply isn't checking every angle. They definitely aren't checking angles in the post plant when they're trying to rush to site. Meanwhile, you have the advantage of being in place, waiting for them to arrive. I'm sorry, what's that, Call of Duty players? I'm talking about camping? Yes, I am! But camping in spots that are smart, spots that are going to receive attention from your enemy, spots that provide early information to your team so that if you die, you still give everyone else something to play off of. If you spot the enemy, miss, and have to back up, you still gain the power of information for your team. You know the location of one of the remaining enemies, and that can give you the confidence to plant or play the post plant. Next, there's the position of second man. This is the person who follows the entry fragger, the person pushing you onto site. The goal of the second man is to simply be the second person in. Your entry fragger will hopefully get a pick, but we're talking about iron and bronze here, so if they don't, you're right on their heels, ready to kill the person who killed them. You don't need perfect game sense or perfect aim for this role. You simply play Simon Says and watch what your entry fragger does. Be close enough so that your first few bullets land on the head or body and avenge your fallen ally. This trade leaves you and the enemy team even, sure, but hopefully you now have sight control allowing you to plant the bomb. All of these techniques so far were about getting information or advantage for your team, but what about the enemy team? Let's talk about denying information and vision. Most abilities in Valorant can be used offensively or defensively, but there's also those that specialize in defense like Sentinels, Sage, Cypher, and Killjoy. Sentinels can be extremely powerful in any hands. They often have what you might call a low skill floor. Cypher's tripwire is as simple as placing it. Bam, you've got value. And as you learn to place it in unexpected places or unique angles, it gains even more value. But its off-the-shelf value is still high, especially in lower ranks where people simply don't know how to play around it. The low skill floor abilities are great at distancing enemies or denying vision. Things like Phoenix's Firewall Blaze or Sage's Ice Wall Barrier Orb can totally block the enemy from seeing what you're doing, giving your team the advantage. You don't need to be 100% accurate with your shots if you start firing first. Like I said earlier, even moderate aim, you can down your enemy in 1 second, and your enemy needs time to react to you showing up in an unexpected place, like emerging through the blaze or shotgunning from on top of a barrier. You know what I don't recommend though? Flashes. If you can't land a flash without blinding yourself, don't play flashes. And for my teammates out there, if you can't land a flash without blinding everybody on your team, don't play flashes. This is especially critical in low ranks. Flashes can crush your enemies. That's why we see them as a staple in the pro ranks, but pros are coordinated. Your pickup group in Iron, it's just not. They don't know when that red light is in the air, they shouldn't look at it. Or if Sova's beam is targeting the area around them, they should move. I'm not trying to hate on low skill players, I am one. What I'm saying is that we lack the situational awareness to get out of your way and let you do your thing. But once again, if you flash yourself, go to unrated and practice. I mean, for the love of anyway, the last concept I want to cover is area denial. Area denial combines removing information from the enemy while granting information to your team. It requires you to practice a bit, but you want to climb the ranks, so you're willing to practice, right? Think of things like Raze's grenade, paint shells. If you chuck this at a corner your enemy's in, they have no choice but to run or die. If you throw this at an area you think the enemy is in and you hear footsteps, move in and shoot. They likely have their gun down, giving you the advantage in the fight. Don't forget to pre-fire too. If you hear their footsteps, aim at the footsteps. You're probably correct. Even if you don't have perfect aim, just the sight of a paint shell flying at you is enough to make a move. In low elo, people don't know if or when they're safe from these type of abilities, so they almost always move. This is another opportunity to catch the enemy's location and possibly take account of them as well. All great information to share in comments. Now think of something like Killjoy's grenade, Nano Swarm. This does devastating damage in a small area, once again forcing your enemy to run, but it also sticks to one place and can't be seen till you get close. Thinking about the perspective of gaining information, what happens if you see your Nano Swarm grenade disappear? Simple, you know the enemy's there. If you drop to the swarm near a default plant site and all of a sudden you lack the ability to activate it, you know the enemy is either planting default or has cleared the default location. Thinking about vision, learn some basic lineups. If you can toss your grenade from around a wall or a corner directly onto where the bomb is expected to be, you can get easy kills. Often. If you hear the defuse, your swarm goes off and there's no noise, you know they faked the defuse and that tells you need to wide swing onto the site, potentially with a second man if you have one. If you do hear running, move in and catch where the enemy is moved to. If this all sounds so basic to you, it's cause it is. If your enemy can kill you with a gun faster than you can kill them with a gun, don't use a gun. Or at least force them to put their gun down, deny their vision, get easy poke damage off, just even that playing field. Now listen, these techniques won't always work, but when they do, you can enable your team to win even when you bottom frag. The ironic part for me is that I lose almost every game that I top frag because my value is rarely in headshots. It's information, it's vision, it's poke damage. I've got loads more Valorant videos lined up about what it's like to play in the low ranks and how to climb out of them, or at least my experience doing so. So let me know your thoughts on this video, subscribe for more, and until next time, see ya.